Hey guys, welcome to day 34 of the Lent Devotional series. The two passages for today are 2 Kings 4, 32 through 47 and Mark 5, 21 through 43. So I'm going to focus on the New Testament portion today, and to provide a little bit of context, Jesus has just crossed from the Gentile region of Gerasenes to the Galilean side where the population was majority Jewish. And we see two instances here where Jesus healed, right? Two women with incredibly different lives and circumstances. One was a woman who had bled for 12 years. She was an outcast in society. No one wanted to be around her because it was believed that when a woman bled, anything that she touched was unclean. So, of course, no one wanted to be around her. She gave everything that she had to be healed by other physicians with no reprieve. She had no one to advocate for her or help. Instead, she suffered immensely for 12 years. On the other hand, we see Jairus' daughter, and Jairus was a ruler in the synagogue. And his daughter was 12 years old. She came from a really highly respected and revered background, never really suffered immensely for who she was. She had many people crying and weeping and advocating for her because she was on her deathbed. And one person that really stands out in this story is her father, Jairus. And both the woman who was bleeding and also Jairus had an encounter with Jesus in this scripture. So despite the differences, there are similarities in each encounter with Jesus that really stood out to me. And it was the faith and humility of the individuals and then the nature and the power of Jesus. So we see the faith of the woman who was bleeding so clearly as she says, "Even if I touch his garment, I will be made well." There was no part of her that doubted that Jesus was who he said he was and that he could heal her completely. She put aside the cultural beliefs that told her that she shouldn't touch anyone because she made them unclean, but she ended up touching the one who instead made her clean and whole. Jairus himself also, right off the bat in the very first verses of this scripture, demonstrates such immense faith when he pleaded with Jesus to come and just lay his hands on his daughter, knowing that he would heal her and make her live. I also think about how he probably really risked his reputation and his standing with the other leaders of the synagogue who despised Jesus because he knew that Jesus was the only one who could save his daughter. The other characteristic of both the woman and Jairus that really stood out to me was their humility when they encountered Jesus. For Jairus, he went directly up to Jesus and fell at his feet, as it says in the scripture. And the woman, once Jesus kind of called her out, as the scripture says, came in fear and trembling and fell before him. So we so clearly see that they recognize Jesus' sovereignty and omnipotence, that they are nothing compared to him. They just recognized their deep need for Jesus, and so they humbled themselves before him. And another similarity I saw between both instances was in the person of Jesus himself, both in his nature and in his power. He had such an encouraging nature in terms of their faith to both the woman and to Jairus, right? To the woman, he said, "Daughter, your faith is what healed you." And to Jairus, when he found out that his own daughter had died, I can't imagine the despair that must have rushed into him, knowing that, oh, what if Jesus had not stopped for this other woman and healed her? What if I had been a few minutes earlier? Would my daughter still be alive? Imagine the feeling that he had. And I think Jesus recognized that, and he stopped and said, "Do not fear, just believe." In essence, he was just saying, have faith in me, Jairus. And so he really encouraged them in their own distinct ways in their faith in him. And secondly, another part of his nature that really stood out to me was that he doesn't show any favoritism. He shows no partiality, that no matter if it was an outcast in society or the daughter of a ruler, a high religious official, he provided healing to both. And then also something that stood out to me was Jesus' power is just so clearly seen in both instances. He shows that he is the only one that has the power to do what no human in their own strength could do. He did what years and years of physicians could not do for the bleeding woman. He did what no other synagogue ruler could do for the daughter of Jairus. He healed and he brought back to life, demonstrating his authority and power over all. And I really pray that this leaves us in awe of who our God is, that this isn't something that he did only thousands and thousands of years ago. No, Jesus offers that same healing through what he did on the cross for us, right? By his death on the cross, we are no longer unclean or dead in our sin. Instead, by our faith in what he did and who he is, we are made clean and alive in him. And as it says in Isaiah 43, but he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. And so I pray that we have that same steadfast faith in the Lord and really humble ourselves before him, laying all that we are before him, just like the woman did and just like Jairus did, knowing that no matter what our circumstance may be, we can have faith that the Lord is who he has always said that he is powerful, that he is constant, that he is encouraging, that he is faithful, and that he is loving, and so many other things. And I pray that we can just rest in that truth today and every day. God is who he says he is. Let us believe that. Thank you guys for listening.